Closer. Just a little bit closer. Lean way in. Lean in. Thus is the advice of Sheryl Sandberg, COO of Facebook, woman extraordinaire, powerhouse, pretty phenomenal actually. If you haven't heard of her yet, really fantastic. I hope you have. She was voted one of Forbes' top 100 most powerful women, also a billionaire. Sheryl Sandberg, the CEO of Facebook, she started out born in Washington, D.C., moved to Florida with her parents. She's the oldest of 3 kids. Her younger siblings like to say, I was Sheryl's first employee, because when she was younger, Sheryl liked bossing her brothers and sisters around, which is pretty hilarious actually. And so she liked bossing them around. She just always grew up a little assertive. She would say this, but she would say this, she talked about this, growing up kind of assertive, but always trying to hide it. Sheryl Sandberg also went to Harvard, graduated from Harvard. She also worked for Google when Google was nothing, pretty much. She started with Google. She helped it become part of the company it is today. And then she also worked with Facebook, helping it turn into profitability. But what can we learn from this billionaire, this powerhouse of a phenomenal woman? Her advice is leaning in. Now let me explain. Leaning in is being fully engaged in whatever you're doing. This is work, this is home, this is really being present, showing up to the table. She talks about a lot of the time, as people, as women, as men, we have a tendency not to fully be present in our work. She especially talks for women though. She especially is talking to women, so I'm especially talking to you today, women. She talks about how as women we have a tendency to disengage from work a lot sooner than we do. This might be for home, family, relationship. We just don't give it our all. We give it half and say, I don't want to go further than that. I know personally I did this. When I became pregnant with my daughter, I started disengaging from work. I still showed up every day. I still did my best when I was there, but I stopped taking on new projects. I started cutting back on my clientele. I stopped really giving it my all because I knew there was a deadline. After my daughter was born, again, I stopped fully committing. I was still the best coach I could possibly be, but I wasn't striving to go any higher because I figured I want to start disengaging. And this is the problem a lot of us make. We start disengaging whatever we're doing. We're not leaning in. We're not fully present. And there's examples in my life when I was fully leaned in, even when there was a deadline of when I was going to stop. It's when I was working up in Alaska. I got a part-time job at a popcorn place. I was serving popcorn. And I really leaned into that job, even though it was just a part-time job, and I had another full-time job on the side, mainly, but I really leaned into that part-time job. I did my best. I showed up. I looked for extra responsibility. And something amazing happened. About halfway through the summer season, the owners approached me and they said, Madeline, we're looking for a director of operations. Would you be willing to be the director of operations over our entire tourism company? And I was flabbergasted. I was amazed. It resulted in me doubling my pay. And mind you, this was all from fully leaning in. So I want to ask you, what are you working on right now? Are you fully leaned in? Or are you holding back? That is your challenge. Fully commit. When you fully commit, obstacles become smaller. Not because they actually become smaller, but your focus becomes more straight and you're able to see through it and you're able to accomplish this. I know you can do this. You're amazing. There is your challenge. Lean in, show up, and start exceeding your Everest today.